Hello guys, my name is DAG and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a hopes and predictions, or a what we know so far, for series 13 of Doctor Who. I know it's only been a day, maybe two by the time you're seeing this, since Revolution of the Daleks, and since I've watched it again I thought I'd just give you my rewatch thoughts, and they were that I still like it. I think it's one of the better looking episodes of Jodie's run, one of the best that she's had. I think the episode is still really enjoyable. It definitely has the faults that I said it had before, and I found Ryan's arc a lot nicer the second time around, and I found the stuff with in the prison ultimately pointless because she's hardly in there. So within this video I'm going to be talking about her. So within this video, I'm going to be talking about where I think the characters are going to go. I'm going to be talking about the new companion, the villains that they're facing, and things that could happen within the story. If you haven't already, check out my review of the Revolution of the Daleks episode, if you haven't already, because I thought it was quite good. Can I just say, it's absolutely great to have a companion with the same name as me, because now every time I hear it in a YouTube video, in Doctor Who, part of me will think that they're talking to me. So the new companion is played by John Bishop, and his name is Dan. We don't know much else about him, but he lives in Liverpool. That's it. That's all we got. I imagine he's going to be a lot like the companions that the Chibnall era have done so far. Is Earth people kind of get whisked away into the world of Doctor Who and all that kind of stuff, and saying that they're going to have a better year and all that kind of, because that's kind of where that's going, is saying that you're going to, see adventure, and you're looking numbers 13, like you're going to meet the Doctor and things like that. I think he's going to add a lot of comic charm to the role, because he is a comedian. That kind of comic charm that Bradley Walsh has could also come across in Dan, because comedians and all that kind of stuff, and he can also play a very Graham role, and that's like the way that I see it going, is that he's almost the replacement to Graham in a really weird way of putting it, but he can add the comic relief and all that kind of stuff that Graham does. By comic relief I mean like the nice little witty lines of dialogue and a bit of charm. Like Graham was like the best bit of the previous two series. Graham has been a really cool companion, and it's such a shame to see him go, but part of me is not particularly happy with them making a direct replacement of him, so I hope they do something different with that. Next I want to talk about Yaz. Now I think Yaz is going to go down a very different route than what we've seen before with companions. Now from this episode I feel like she almost has this hatred for the Doctor. This kind of love-hate kind of thing, where she loves her, but at the same time she really hates her. Like, she's annoyed at her for, leaving and all that kind of stuff. I think that all of that could make a very interesting sort of relationship between the two of them if they kind of spat a bit and they really had some conflict. And it'd be good as well because, previously the companions have never really taken the Doctor's word as being untrue or anything like that. They've known that she lies, and they've found that a lot with Series 12, but it never really went anywhere, and hopefully they can do that with just Yaz. The Thasmin thing seems to be happening in some forms, or they're going to tease that it's happening throughout all of Series 13, like they did in this episode. I felt there were multiple moments when they teased it, but I think that would be interesting to see play out. I'm not a big fan of the idea. Rose doesn't really work for me now. If it doesn't become extremely sort of explicit and they're standing on a beach saying I love you, then I'm okay with it. The next person I want to talk about is the Doctor, obviously, the final member of our new TARDIS team. So I think that she will be on a journey of self-discovery. Her identity has basically been rewritten. You can kind of tell that within Revolution. She has almost an identity crisis at one point. She's sort of talking about, who am I? What kind of things do I do? Normally they do this at the beginning of the regenerations and stuff like that. But okay, you're doing it in the middle. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go. We're going to, I imagine, find out a lot more about the Time's Children, the Vision, the company, the kind of the bad guy, the Gallifrey bad guy. We're going to find out a lot more information about that, but I imagine that this information will be drip drabbed, will be sort of fed to us slowly throughout this series, and I imagine the next 3 years. Something that I heard recently on Twitter from Go Doctor Who, which is an idea that I really like, is the idea that Chibnall's kind of assembling a Stolen Earth, Journey's End kind of thing. you know, Graham and Ryan are still open to return at some point. Jack is obviously open to return. Gwen as well, because, you know, she gets mentioned. It's possible that she could return at another point as well. Torchwood, for example, can come back, and there's a lot of people talking about the reuniting of Torchwood and, you know, using Graham and Ryan and all that as Torchwood. I'm not quite sure how that would work. But, you know, having them involved in, like, an episode, you know, a mega finale like the 60th or something like that would be a cool idea. I also feel like we're not quite finished with the prison. Now, in a video that I talked about not too long ago when I talked about Weeping Angels and how, one, I thought it was a bit of a distraction. It could be also the idea that the prison has kind of emptied and for some reason has began to bring people bring the monsters onto Earth, etc. So you might see some of them again. And I'd hate to think that that's where all the prison and the kind of the life imprisonment that the Doctor's got, all of that kind of just ends because she escaped once. They're still going to be looking for her in the same way that they're looking for the Roof Doctor. So what are your thoughts? I'm really excited to see where this is going to go. Are we going to get some really cool episodes? We've got some Tarans returning. We have probably Weeping Angels, and I hope a whole bunch of things from the prison as it leaks in some form. Don't think we've seen the end of the prison. What do you think? I don't know. I'm interested. I want to see as many theories as possible. So thank you guys very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you go like, subscribe if you're new, and I shall see you soon. Goodbye.